Good evening, everyone. Welcome to kuril dhagun at the State Library of Queensland. My name is Sophia and I'm pitching for San Bruno. I'm a jewellry woman and my connections are to the northern central desert around Newcastle waters in the Northern Territory. With family spread across the top end of Darwin, Dangerous and the Tiwi Islands. And I mention this because everywhere that we walk is someone else's country. And tonight we're meeting on Aboriginal land here at Kuril Point. And I'd like to take a moment to recognise the traditional custodians of Kurilpa and pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. The State Library recognises the privilege to continue a tradition of knowledge sharing and preservation in this place. The Night by the Fire tonight is the last in our series associated with our showcase, kuril dhagun, our sporting greats, Marian Island athletes in the spotlight. If you haven't already had a chance to have a look, you might want to take a moment after we finish talking. So throughout this program, we've spoken with Rhonda Pressell about her journey, Lily Prince and the designers of the Commonwealth Games Queen's Baton, Anita Heiss talking about sport and reconciliation, the Stradbroke Marching Girls and Danny Morsu. Tonight we're joined by Delvene Cockatoo-Collins, a jewellery maker and artist working with textiles, ceramics, natural fibres and materials. And she speaks with us tonight as a designer of the Commonwealth Games athlete and commemorative medals. I hope I've got all that right. And sorry, I apologise, I forgot to weave this in. Just a bit of housekeeping. The bathrooms are just inside here. Sam in the orangey pink shirt will be able to let you in if you need to be up tea and coffee, and scones over in the corner if you'd like something to refresh yourself. I will go back into the main part. So seamless. And welcome, Delvene. Would you like to tell us a bit about yourself, about your role, your country and your artistic practice?
Good evening, everyone. I too would like to acknowledge that we meet here today on Aboriginal land, and those long connections from here over to Minjerribah, where I'm from. I'm also joined by a couple of my family members, my sister Stephanie, my cousin Rachel and her daughter Dorinda. We belong to the Delvene and Martin families of North Stradbroke Island of Minjerribah, part of Commonwealth country. We identify as a Ngunnawal and Gurungal peoples. So that area goes up past around Norton Island, Magumpin, across to the mouth of the Brisbane River, down towards Wynnum, Logan River, across to the southern Moreton Bay Islands, and up to South Stradbroke, or Mum calls it the southern part of Stradie, because it once was joined to North Stradie. I live on Minjerribah. I'm an independent artist, also doing some study at Bachelor Institute. We have some former staff here joining us tonight too. So I have a small studio that I work from, and I think I absolutely love what I do. Over time, I feel like I've always made things, and over time gradually reduced my full-time job to the point where now I'm completely immersed in my art, and I couldn't be more grateful for all the support that's happened along the way with my family, the people that have supported my artwork in itself. It's definitely having that interest and support has enabled me to have the career that I have now, have the lifestyle that I have. And there's a few things that I love to do every day, and sometimes it doesn't happen because you're tied up with things. I love to have a cup of tea with Mum every day. It's in those moments that you find out things that you may not have heard otherwise. I try to get onto the beach every day. Again, that doesn't always happen, but I do my best. So there's sort of some of the goals that I have. My life goals to have a cup of tea with Mum and to go onto the beach. So if I can reach those, and I think so much more happens from there, from those times and spaces.
Thank you, that sounds beautiful. Can you tell us a bit about how the opportunity to design for the Commonwealth Games came about, and what the process was with that?
And one more thing, I'd like to acknowledge all of you sitting here tonight. I know how much time is absolutely precious. So thank you for being here tonight to hear this story. And I really appreciate the interest and that you've shown to be here. So there's a few things that happened for me to have that job. I was adamant that I was never going to apply for anything. I just thought it's not really where I see my work going. But having my work and my time at the Gold Coast Indigenous Arts Camp, which was organised by Joan Reason, who's here in the room with us tonight too. We had the opportunity to, work one-on-one with different artists, including Fiona Foley and Mark Robinson, to have our artwork teams, to have opportunities then to have our work in exhibitions at the Gold Coast Arts Centre. So while those two camps happened, the ones that I attended in 2015 and 16, the two exhibitions, My Story and also Shipping Sands, and it's my understanding that some of the people came through from the Games through that Shipping Sands exhibition and looked at the work there. And also, so that's sort of that part of it. The time that I was approached was I was in Sydney at Homegrown Festival, and someone asked if we were interested in talking with us about some design. So, I was travelled all the way down from Minjerribah. I really consider the places where my work goes. So, I've got my own workspace, but then I've also got, the Gold Coast Arts Centre, Ancestry is another opportunity, the Angel Markets, places where that they're well curated, a festival that's looked after particularly well, and that the right environment for your artwork is there. And it's all you have to do is make the work for that space and travel there. So I did that to Homegrown, and that particular festival is run by Rhoda Roberts, and the amazing productions that she does with the Opera House sales and the Band sales and the Dreaming Festival, the Sydney 2000 opening ceremony. So going down there to Homegrown Festival is a key date for me every year. I think we've done it 3 times now. And so I said, okay, I'm happy to talk. I'm happy to... it was quite a surprise and really unexpected, because while you think you're doing things quietly and, on Stradbroke and travelling to make your work available, it was really taken back. So that organisation, Great Big Events, so based in Sydney, and they had the medal ceremonies part of the whole Commonwealth Games. So things like the music, the trays that the medals sat on, the costumes that the medal presenters wore, the dais, doing all the organising the Australian Defence Force, and how all those ceremonies actually occurred was run through a Great Big Event. So I was contracted through them, and there was the initial job was the medal ceremonies costumes, and at each stage there was, I met with the Aboriginal Advisory Panel to talk through those designs, to talk through those ideas, and initially talking with Mum as well. So that job happened first, and then we moved on to the medals, and I went through a number of stages for those approvals to go through, And when I was thinking about, if there's an opportunity here to share a shareable story, something that I know is already in the public, and one of the things that I thought about with the medals was the space between where the athletes were going to be visiting, where they'll be drawn to, what do I also know, and how can I match that up? And it was the space on the beach between the high tide and low tide mark. There's stuff that happens, it changes every day, but it's the same tidal movements that we know that our old people have always gathered, and that those shellfish appear, Ugu shells, so all those patterns that are on those medals is what I see in those beach stone lines. And so for me, that's an old story. It's an old space, even though it changes every day. And for me, the opportunity to share with the athletes was one of the highlights. They talked about they've never had a First Nations design on those boards before in many different ways that they've attended. And one of the teams that I had the opportunity to speak with was the Jamaican team, and so even explaining that space, their environment is very different to ours. They have very small tides, so following the games, many of them travelled over to the island for the day. Then we had a second group come over, and they saw that tidal space, and they were able to recognise what I had intended for those designs. So I've got the set here. It was the ribbon was based on my mum's map making technique. So that was something that was given to her. It's our freshwater reed called Minjerribah, and there's only a couple of places that you find this on the island. And through my understanding that the reed and shell necklaces were traded with mobs that were not on the island, and that to me shows how precious that was, and also how good those relationships existed elsewhere. So when you remove the reed in that area, in that freshwater area, you leave the root system behind, and most of the reeds have a pink part on the bottom, and then they graduate to green. And there's a few times, when you've pulled that reed a bit too hard and you've removed the root system, and it's actually, you feel really guilty because you know that particular life cycle of that reed has finished. So you have to be very careful removing and knowing that can regrow. So each strand has 3 reeds starting off, and then one does all the work. And you keep adding them in as that working strand runs out. And then once you've done that, so there's probably about, 10 reeds in that particular piece. And then you join them all together with other reeds, and then it makes a mat. And these reeds are also used for basket making. Some of these baskets are held still in the museum, so even those ones that are about 100 years old, you can still detect that little bit of pink in that reed.
Thank you, that's amazing. It's so beautiful, the pink that comes through. So you talked a bit about the designs that are in these. So that's the sand lines on the side.
On the outer part of the middle to the side, between that high tide and low tide line. And then some of the patterns go across to the other side. So, it was nice to receive this in a frame set when you open up the ribbon part, the Gold Coast down the side here on the left, and then when you open up, you see the full those triangle shapes, and that lights them up when it's open.
And you designed another medal as well, the commemorative medal.
Again, thinking about that, those areas between Gold Coast, Brisbane, Townsville, and Cairns, where those sites were, and it's pretty much the migration pathway that the humpback whale. So even yesterday when we were sitting out waiting, it's actually really amazing time of year. August, some of the whales are coming back south with their babies, and there was one playing just not far off from where we could see, and some are still travelling north. So it's almost like this playground at the moment. For anyone that hasn't been over to the island, it's probably the best time to travel over and go and have a look. So that's with Mum growing up on the island, there's not a lot of memories of those whales during that time. It was a whaling station over in Northern Island. But what happens now, because they're protected, she has this absolute joy as each of those whales come past, because it's new stories. It's so when we were I think it was 2014, the first time when we were kind of like getting ready for Niggler to come past, and she's like, right, we're going to head out to the point, because I know that Nigglers don't fingal, I know that those whales are sort of travelling this fast, he's going to be here. So we went and waited, and he showed up. So I started sort of making and drawing that moment with Mum. And it was that white humpback whale that, every whale is special that comes past, but this particular one, the colour, his skin goes back a turquoise, so it almost looks ghostly moving through that water, and the space that it is many people are waiting and sharing in that joy. So I thought this is a good, particularly good story to put onto, something that's in the public, something that people know about. And so he's ended up on a commemorative medal. And this medal was received by all the athletes who competed, as well as some of the staff. And I had difficulty getting it into that sort of circle shape. So some of it's also, like the other medals, some of the designs going up to the back.
Thank you. So Niggler has a lot of significance for yourself and your family as well, and it features a lot in your other artwork as well, and also at the opening ceremonies. Do you want to tell us about that part of the design process as well, or the significance of having that on such a grand stage?
At different times you're coming across different people in that space, and I'm going to take it back to 2015. We were down at home ground, and I had my small porcelain whales in my store, and somebody bought 6 of them, and they kind of went all different places, and one of them ended up in the team that was running the opening ceremony. So it was sort of another crossover point. One of the presentations when I was talking about these medals, and sort of 12 months out, that the opening ceremony team said that we know about your whale, we know about those medals. Would you be interested in working with us to create the opening ceremony whale, and he's going to be about 30 metres. So we went and met and talked about different ways that this whale could be made, and of course I've never made anything that big, so my drawing went from about 30 centimetres, and those porcelain whales went from 10 centimetres, 15 centimetres, 30 centimetres up to this is the fabric here. So it was digitally printed, and this is some leftover fabric from his face. It's a synthetic material, and inside there was a space where helium went into, and that featured in the ceremony. And even with the coverage, you really didn't get the full story of it, but the idea, and I didn't know, remember the dancers underneath, there was about 400 dancers who had been rehearsing for a very long time, but they were formations of coral and seagrass, so they tracked his journey, and then it was a celebration of all those people who were waiting. So I feel like that part of mine, what I shared, that as people are waiting, there's this joy. They captured some of that in the briefing and the way that he was shown. So that he now belongs to the Home of the Arts down on the Gold Coast. So that was a transaction between Gold Coast and Home of the Arts, and contractually, it's probably something that I would consider. When you create something for an event, where is it going to go? Where is it going to be its home in the end? So even with the medals, like, where are they going to go? What is my role in that? And how can I ensure that the integrity of that story remains with it? So there's a bit of follow-up to do afterwards, and I appreciate the opportunity to be able to do that as well.
I was just looking at a little drawing there, and that's certainly a big jump from that size up to stadium-sized Minjerribah. That's beautiful. I love that you also talk about the legacy of where he's going to live and be housed now. The projects around Commonwealth Games, and including the Festival 2018 at the time, seems to have had a long-lasting legacy as well. Do you want to talk about that?
So one of the other projects I was involved in the Children's Life Museum, capturing the stories of Aboriginal children, Minjerribah, shagun, Gold Coast. Another team went down to Goondiwindi, and then they set up within the space. So at Festival 2018, and Minjerribah Markets was another outcome from as part of that legacy program. So Minjerribah Markets focused entirely on Aboriginal-owned businesses, whether it's there was coffee, there was drinks, there was food, swimwear, arts and crafts, kind of all different forms of Aboriginal product, and that's set up outside of just at the top of Queen Street Mall. Yeah, great place. So I know that there's intentions for more of those to occur with the current Backyard Homes Culture campaign, and the way that there's a real highlight on the growing presence of an authentic Aboriginal arts and crafts. There's an absolute need for spaces like that to be available, not only for the artists but also for the consumer, the buyer, to know that here's an Aboriginal artist, here's their story, and that's the provenance of this particular piece of work, and it needs to be readily accessible, and that's why places like Queen Street Mall they flourish in there, because there's no competition close by. So the more support for those legacies like Minjerribah Markets, it means better support for artists. Like Kim, you were there. You had a good few days too. years ago there used to be Queensland Aboriginal Creations in George Street, and that used to have arts and crafts from all over the state, as well as local South East Queensland Aboriginal artists. And with that gone, there's opportunity for a permanent space or those pop-up spaces like the Engine Market. So, yeah, I think for me it's an exciting time to see all these other, this movement of Aboriginal artists and their own businesses.
I think I read somewhere. Did you used to work at the the Aboriginal artist creations? Yeah. So, how does it feel to being representing Australia as an Aboriginal artist through these events on this international stage? Yeah.
I think, it's definitely highlighted the island, and it's for me that sort of long-term stuff is the relationships that have been established through that time. With the Jamaican team, they came over to the island and they were talking about potentially bringing back their netball team to Stradbroke. All they wanted to do was meet Aboriginal families, see where they lived, and have our food. So we were able to give that over those couple of days. And so I think, long term, that's where those key relationships I feel most proud about. And that's where I'm happy those outcomes have come from.
Thank you so much. Is there anything else that you want to share with us about the experience? About anything? I'm kind of also interested in about how they made them as well. Were you involved in that minting process at all? Did you get to approve it all?
From my drawings, there was the team down in Sydney, so I got to go down there. I didn't actually go to the mint to see it actually being done. I know that they were sent up back up to the Gold Coast for some of the staff to assist with finishing, especially those that whale metal. But there was those approval processes along the way. So, I'm pleased that occurred, and I was able to see the ribbon before that. There was a few changes in that for it to be in its final position. The way that the metal looked, where it was going to be attached. So there was, for me, I feel like there was good communication between myself and the people who contracted me.
And how did it feel as an artist who works with community and does collaboration, is very connected to have been a part of this big project, which was quite secret, I guess, so you couldn't divulge what you were doing necessarily? How did it feel to have to keep that secret the whole time that it would have taken from doing the drawings and the minting, the approvals, right up until, I guess, the game started, or until they were thrown out?
It probably was the most difficult part, was not being able to tell too many people. Because Mum came with me to the meetings in Sydney and Gold Coast. She was a big part of, because that's her knowledge there. And I told my mum's sister, Auntie Gwen. I told her because she's a good secret keeper. And told my husband, I think I told Steph, because she had to check my contracts. My sister's a lawyer, intellectual property, so I had to get that to go through, and I went through the firm that she was working at. She's now currently doing her master's in that inquiry, the inquiry into the growing presence of an authentic Aboriginal arts and crafts, so it benefits many of us. And sorry, one of the key things is if it's under strict license agreement or handmade, and you can tell, know who the artist is, where it's made, and what the story is. They're kind of the key questions that you may want to ask when you're buying original art or souvenirs or products. Yeah, so those, I think it was about 18 months that I had to keep quiet, and the night of the reveal was down on the Gold Coast, and I think even during that whole time, I didn't quite understand that whole world. I was, happy making things by hand, happy to have my work locally, happy to do those sort of one-off things, work on a few exhibitions. So to come out of that very comfortable space was quite challenging. I think what I wanted to do was, even through those challenges, was to learn and enjoy. And sometimes it did get difficult. So I had to work through that. And I feel like even through it all I've grown. I know now the questions that I should be asking. And even through that, like working through that contract to make sure that I own the intellectual property of my stories, that wasn't handed over. And the only thing I can't do is make another 30-metre whale. So that was pretty much, the only restriction that has come out of it. And on the night of the reveal in November, we was at the Star City, and it was a good production. It was like a show. So, but they had they produced a really lovely video. So I've got that, and I can show that sort of wherever, in my studio, wherever I do this tour. It's on the Gold Coast 2018 website, and it's under Celebrate Medals. So it's got that storyline where I'm going out to, get the reads about the beach and about the actual making of it. And Kurt Thornley, who's one of the investors, speaks about the meaning from the athlete's point of view. So I had to take the medals and walk out on stage, and with me were many of the athletes, and their initial reaction, I really liked. I liked what they saw. So for me at that moment, I thought that's the first reaction I've had from somebody who wasn't part of the making process. So they said they were beautiful. I really want to work hard to win them. And there was one that had finished competing. He's like, I wish I was able to win one. So that to me, tells I did a good job from that end. And then, so it got announced at about, I think, 8:30, and it went pretty quickly across social media and all that, and then phone went hot. And then Annie Glenn rang at about 12, I think it was. And she's like, everyone's ringing me. Like, why are they ringing me? And they're like, did you know? And she's like, yeah, well, how come you didn't tell me? So it was good to have, Annie Glenn outside of, his mum was there all the way through, and then from, Annie Glenn to know and see this as well was great. Yeah, so, and then I couldn't sleep, and then I had to get up, and they said, oh, could you come and talk to some media? And there was, I thought I'd be, talking like this on a couch, and there was about 20 cameras, and because I hadn't talked about it ever, I hadn't talked about it, the story, they said, oh, would you like to tell us about the medals? And I actually didn't know what to say because I hadn't, I'd signed that agreement, I hadn't been talking about it all. I just kind of got back onto my, back into my studio, back into working, and let that be, let, the production happen. And so, yeah, it came quite out of the blue for me to explain it. So it took me, weeks to actually say this is what the story is, because I've been so used to not talking about it.
It is a really beautiful video, and I'm going to watch it. And I really liked one of the quotes that you said that the effort and the work that you put into the medals, you drew parallel to the work and effort of the athletes working towards that goal. You hope that you could reflect some of that journey, that effort. It's beautiful. We might open up for some questions. Is there anyone with any question or comment?
So has your experience changed and made you think about making things in the same way but maybe changing the audience a little bit? And how you said you see that, in that different ways, that maybe sparks some other ideas that are floating out there?
It's made me think that people are interested in my work and what other ways can I work in. Having this has enabled me to have another part of my practice, I guess. And because it's only been 4 months, I feel like it's still quite recent. I haven't quite sunk into. At the same time, I had my first solo show the same week. So we had the opening of the Games, which we had a role in, and then the Friday night, 2 nights later, was the opening of my exhibition. And Joe Andrewson's we shared the space at Delvene Art Gallery. So I've been working on that separately for three months, like just thinking of what I needed to make. And I explored the story of the mermaid from Minjerribah, and there's an oral history and there's old written records, so I wanted to make sense of that. So I think I had about 20 pieces, so while I was in that space, I was also focused on my own work. Even with those people saying, have you thought of working in retail? I feel like I'm not quite ready for that yet. I just need to settle a bit more and get through some of those other commitments that have come up. There has been a few other jobs that have come out of it, and I'm just slowly getting through that. But I'm really wanting to be back home. Our last boat's 7:25, so I'm staying over here.
Anyone else? This is going to make you up.
I want to ask a bit of a controversial question. I want to ask, what was your reaction to the commentary in mainstream media about the Games being too Indigenous, or the opening ceremony being too Indigenous?
Yeah, my sister said there wasn't enough. So, Wesley Enoch and Stephen Page, all the elders from, and Australia and Gold Coast, they're all there, and kids were dancing alongside Bengala. So what we saw how special it was, because we're there beside them as they're rehearsing, and I think you're always going to get that, all this beautiful production. And Luther Corey, his input, all the didgeridoo players. It was an amazing input from all, mostly local mob, but some from elsewhere. So I think we expected it. You expect negativity around how beautiful it was. One of my little sons, he was one of the dancers in that eagle scene. And so they had Bengala right in front of them. They were rehearsing with them, and that's like his ultimate dream. So, there's all these highlights that have come out for many young people that I think they'll carry with them. And, if only those stories could be shared more.
Thank you. Anyone else? do you have anything else you'd like to add about the whole experience, or anything that's stood out for you going forward?
I'm just, for people now coming into my workspace, I see the opening for people to talk more, to want to know more, and that this has opened up conversations like tonight and like on the island. So I hope, hopefully that still continues. I know there's only a small window of opportunity for that interest to be, within this. For me, it will always be a special experience, a place and time where I've grown. But if, some of that can continue to be shared, like with the athletes, knowing that they've got a story that's connected to this place, that it's a First Nation story, and that they can reflect on that. I feel like that's, and for me, that's those relationships. And I wish I had have had more of that, the opportunity to share more with the athletes because of the way that they responded to it. I don't know if anyone knows Narita Morsu. She was in the village one day, and I had some of my work set up, and she just grabbing athletes and bringing them across, and she's saying, "This is the person who designed the medals." And they're like, "Oh, I wish we had have known. We would have talked with you more." So I think, it's the stories, those connections that need to be further developed, and hopefully through this that I can continue to do that.
That's amazing. I bet that for those that were able to go home with the medal, knowing the stories behind it, I guess tonight learning about how these designs, how you're connected to those designs and what they mean, definitely makes me think about these sorts of things and designs more deeply about what's behind those and what stories. And with the weaving that went around the top, I didn't notice that until I watched the video. I'm like, wow, there's just so many layers. It's just so beautiful. Connected to culture, connected to ongoing traditions. I'm really grateful for hearing your story tonight, and so beautiful to see everything that you brought along. Is everyone able to have like a little look after we kind of wrap up? Is that a question? Yeah, okay.
What's your favourite thing about what you do?
Good question.
I get to make things that I love. I love the stories that I'm able to tell, and I'm able to put them in a form where people can see them, and then we can talk about that little story. So I love being able to do that. Thank you for your question.
Thank you, Delvene. Thank you for sharing with us tonight. There's some tea and coffee and some more scones over there if we want to have a meal around the fire, which is not so blazing tonight. Yeah. Thank you all for coming. We hope you come back and visit us at the State Library for some of our other events or for some of our other showcases. There's still some time if you want to have a look at the showcase if you haven't had a chance. It's about Murray and Island athletes in the spotlight that are telling untold stories. So we have Stradbroke marching girls. We have Willie, Willie Quincy works with us as well, but he was a wheelchair athlete and he did shot put and racing as well. And we have a basketballer and a bodybuilder who's amazing. Go and have a look, and thank you all for coming, and thank you, Delvene.